Market is bouncing, yet nothing seems to be happening. You see people bullish here and there, but everyone is still very cautious. People do not believe the pump. People expect further downward price action. Today, I will tell you exactly what will be happening moving further. Nothing pretty much changes from the overview I gave yesterday, but I have some new, very interesting and factual alpha information I have to share, which will help you to build your conviction in certain things that you are holding, and conviction is the most important thing in this market. Conviction is the only thing that makes money for people in this market and loses money as well if you don't have conviction or if you're acting on borrowed conviction. Will Bitcoin go to $96,000? Will we see Ethereum at 2,700? Or are we actually going into absolute crazy Valhalla type run alt season from here? Today, we're figuring out exactly that. With no speculation, just data. Let's start. Let's kick off with the price of Bitcoin, because holders of Bitcoin, they are living in the whole different world at this stage, as they were always living last cycles. Always BTC down was going up. Everyone was screaming about this is only Bitcoin cycle and nothing is going to happen for altcoins, and then they were proved wrong time and time again. My Bitcoin bull market price target is $280,000. Crypto Rover figured out the X game out there. He's just posting bullish posts or bearish posts when the sentiment is very negative to get likes and views. However, with this type of target, I actually tend to agree with this type of target more than the target of $150,000, for example, because too many people are talking and expecting $150,000. 100%. This is how I'm seeing this thing. Only 2.7% of Bitcoin addresses are at a loss. Meanwhile, 95% are still in profit. This small fraction to loss reflects purchases made above the current price. Quite insane. Like, they are 100% living in a different world at this stage. Almost everyone who ever bought Bitcoin is actually in profit at this stage. And I do believe that the issue that we are facing here is that we are definitely facing certain survivor issue. That people that were able to hold BTC through this time, they did not sell into alts, they never bought into meme coin game, they were not buying this narrative that alt season is kicking off back in like March, back in February in 2024. They were not doing that. They were able to sustain and hold their Bitcoin, which is quite crazy if you think that. And I do believe that it will be quite hard for them at this stage to position from BTC into alts. And that's why this is probably the action that will yield the most amount of returns for Bitcoin holders. Because if BTC dominance drop is not happening currently, if alt season is not happening, like start of our alt season I'm talking about in February, something is very off. But by this time, like, it's not only like market taught us all these bad habits, market told us to trade, market told us not to hold, market told us to do like all these bad habits that in the real bull run, when things are just going up, we will be losing tons of money because of these bad habits. Market also told Bitcoin holders these bad habits, that just hold your Bitcoin. And right now, market will actually be capitalizing on this bad habit that it taught Bitcoin holders, because a lot of them, they won't be repositioning currently, which is exactly the time to reposition, right? And what will end up, they will start repositioning at the top. And some of them would even lose all of the Bitcoin holdings just because of all this euphoria that would be happening, and they would be sitting there, and then they would be seeing everyone making 20x's, 50x's, 100x's, and they will just make like what, 2, 3, 4x from here, right? This is crucial point, and this is why this action of selling Bitcoin currently into altcoins, at least a portion, is what people will actually be able to capitalize heavily on. I do remember recently I was watching a show from Crypto Bunter with one of the VCs, and one of the VCs said, at least 70% of my portfolio is actually in low cap altcoins at this stage. Absolutely nuts. The bull run has not even begun. The BTC DXY chart just broke out the same way it did in previous cycles before it exploded. We are going so much higher. The DXY chart is essentially a chart of dollar, right? And we're definitely seeing the same breakout in comparison to BTC. From this point of view, I would also tend to agree that, yeah, like you can see on the chart, this vertical explosive movement, this is where 80% of the gains are made in the crypto market. And this thing did not start yet. And like the trap here is that if you would be buying assets that are consensus on the marketplace currently, like if you would be buying Solana, if you would even be buying SUI, despite the fact I do think SUI definitely has some access to make, right? but it's a conventional asset on the marketplace. The thesis is adopted. Therefore, you have a chance to slightly outperform Bitcoin, when in reality there are so many things currently, so many things where you can actually do crazy access on that I'm trying to talk about on this channel as well. Some things might not be happening currently, but I tend to think, at least about the things that I'm sharing, that they will be happening in the future. Bitcoin dominance death cross. It's about to start. Prepare now. Yeah, just one of the signals of BTC dominance drop out there. The reversal of Bitcoin dominance happened right now. A massive altcoin season is about to kick off. We can see BTC dominance chart here and that cat bounce pattern that we're essentially seeing right here. A lot of people were speculating that from here we would actually be creating new high on BTC dominance chart. I don't think so, and I told you about it right away. And I do think that this fractal that we see copied here is probably the fractal from the price action movement from the last cycle. And last cycle BTC dominance drop. The second one after the first one, because the first one already happened in November and December, right? The second one, so quick, like if you were not positioned before, there is almost zero chance for you, like you are getting priced out like immediately, in no time. Like you wake up, asset prices are 2x already. You missed your gains for the whole cycle, for the all season, 2x at least. You divided them by 2. Why? Because you were scared. Why? Because you were waiting for the confirmation at the bottoms. Especially if you're buying spot right now, just buy spot and hold. This is the best thing out there. I do tend to believe that BTC dominance should be following something that is actually outlined right here. And the first drop would be very swift. Like first drop will probably take us to $44,000 Ethereum in no time. But I do believe, if you would ask me about timings, that February open should be red. And right around 5th or 6th of February, exactly the same year, we should start to move heavily. Altcoins are trying to lull us to sleep. In the last alt season 2020 upper image, Matic was ranging in a tight range and sideways correction for months before it became one of the leading coins. The final pump was only lasting 4 months. Now take a look at Ethereum lower image, which is sort of the litmus test for the alt season. Very interesting chart. The speculation here is that chart of Ethereum is very similar to the chart of Matic. It's in a sideways giant accumulation, and that we should be expanding quite soon. I tend to agree with this one. And the thought that I actually want you to ingrain in your minds. I was talking about this thing a couple of times, but I want you to show this one more time because people tend to forget about this one. Solana in December of 2020, which actually correlates perfectly with a 4-year cycle step to the December 2024, Solana was at the price of $1.30. 1 month later, end of March, it was already at 19 bucks. So it did 17x's during the first quarter if you have bought Solana at the exact bottom at the end of December. I'm not telling you to buy Solana currently because I do believe that bulk of the move for this asset is definitely done at this stage. But there are a bunch of assets on this marketplace that I'm talking about on this channel as well in my daily videos that will be showing similar price action. And I'm specifically talking about altcoins actually, right? Because I do believe that BTC dominance, it's not even just my belief because we've seen this already. During this first drop of BTC dominance in the end of November and start of December, what we have seen is that meme coins, they pretty much just died, right? The only thing I'm expect with meme coins is just to recover better from here because like at these levels, they're very low. And Ethereum and base memes to outperform. All the base memes are outperforming already. By the way, if you would like me to do a video on base meme coins, make sure to press the like button under this video. Ethereum BTC is at the bottom again. I'm buying. Bit of a crazy chart because I would say that like real whales on this marketplace, they're just using these things. Like they're not playing your games. They're not like doing 100 trades a day and stuff. They're just looking at these things. They're doing 2 actions a year and they outperform 99.9% of the market, right? They bought BTC at the bottom. They see this chart, all right, we touched the global support for Ethereum. Risk reward here is very nice. I'm repositioning into Ethereum and altcoins. I'm also seeing Trump buying Ethereum. I'm also seeing VCs positioned in alts. My friends are also in alts currently. So I will also reposition and buy some altcoins because the sentiment is very bad. And these poor dorks on crypto Twitter are discussing that alt season is never happening and altcoins are dead. So I'm actually repositioning into them because I'm following the president of the United States of America. I'm not following poor crypto dorks from crypto Twitter. This is how whales are thinking about this thing. Outperforming 99.9% of this market. Ethereum lows falling wedges. What we can see here is speculation on the fact that before these huge breakouts, what Ethereum usually was doing is these falling wedges pattern. 2021, we can see it on the chart. 2024, although here we see an example from the middle of the year, as you can see March, April and May, right? I would argue that before we had the first expansion that happened on 6th of February 2024, Ethereum went up like from $2K to $4,000 in, like, it was an 80% move in a matter of 45 days, right? Absolutely insane. It also had similar type of pattern. We are in the same type of pattern as well. The same, like, the most important question is that whether or not we actually print a new low. Because a lot of people are talking about $2,700, and I'm telling you as well that I expect a red February open, right? But just for me looking at this chart, it does not look like at this stage we should be printing a new low. Although from the market maker's point of view, this is just the best thing out there. Market is still quite cautious. People are afraid at this stage. They're not like jumping back into their assets like crazy, which is exactly like the type of scenario that you want from this market, exactly the type of sentiment that you want before the alt season. But imagine how they will be playing this thing out. The market is tedious. Everyone is tired. Altcoins are at the levels where people could not like expect them to be. Absolutely nuts, absolute bottoms, right? They are providing this relief pump right now, and they're dropping things at the end of February. At the start of February. Like, it will be final capitulation for so many people. So many people are really tired from this market at this stage. And it will be just the final drop, just to send everything higher right after. It will 100% correlate with the timings in the previous cycles as well, right? And it also will be a swift, mean move out there. No one will be able to position if they actually sold to buy back later, right? It's time. Ethereum, very, very simple chart, but still we have to go through it. Consolidation right here at the start, expansion. Certain distribution area in the middle of the cycle, which is very, very interesting, and consolidation currently. Following this chart, the expansion is expected right at the start of February, as you can see. Maybe it's random, right? But I agree with this 100%. For some reason, we have 17th of February on this chart as well, which is very interesting. Hope you can see it, and my camera does not block this one for you. Absolutely insane and crazy chart at this stage, and yeah, I do believe it actually has a high chance of happening. Ethereum price is being suppressed, allowing big players to accumulate. Here's my outlook. $4,000 breakout by the end of February, bullish March $4,000 to $5,000 in days, early April $6,500 per one Ethereum, 2-3 weeks correction, then a push to $9,500-$10,000 likely fueled by a catalyst. Same shit we saw them to do with Bitcoin. So the speculation with this one is that BlackRock and institutions, they essentially are suppressing the price of Ethereum the same way they were doing with the price of BTC before the public announcement of the fact that they applied for Bitcoin ETF. And very, very bullish piece of alpha that I think you did not hear anywhere, because pretty much I just came up with it through the analysis, through me talking through this video. The fact that the purchases of Trump of Ethereum and altcoins are public at this stage probably signals the end of accumulation, which is insane if you think about that. What stops them? What blocks them from making these purchases hidden? Nothing, right? The reason they accumulate publicly, the reason they are allowed to accumulate publicly, the reason no one tells them to like we did not accumulate fully, is because these guys most likely accumulated all of the supply that they wanted this far. And for these guys, they would not lift their fingers if they were talking about like $1 billion, $2 billion, 3, 4. They want to put multiple tens of millions of dollars, if billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars into this asset and get the 2, 3, 4x, then create a giant distribution area with people like Mike Tyson talking about Ethereum, talking about crypto, so they can constantly sell. Like, we'll already be in the bear market, they will still be selling because they just have giant supplies of this asset. They were accumulating for at least 1 year at this stage, and all the signs out there, they're probably showing that we are actually at the final stage of the accumulation area, accumulation range for them. And it clearly correlates with the historical outperformance of Ethereum, start of February. And just the whole thing was happening. The last year was happening in the last cycle as well. Absolutely nuts. We also have to talk about altcoins. With the pump of Ethereum, what the market expects is the pump of altcoins. This is natural, right? And one thing I want to talk about is that same bad habits that the market thought us as like people who are playing in alts, people who are playing in memes. Bad habits, I'm talking about trading, I'm talking about not holding, I'm talking about taking profits on each and every pump, right? These habits were taught to us by the market makers to make sure that we won't be making money once the market is in the bull run, once the market is up only. The same bad habits were actually taught to the Bitcoin holders by the same market makers as well. Because think, who are Bitcoin holders at this stage? Who are these people that actually were able to hold Bitcoin through all this time? All these calls about alt season, all this mania happening, all these meme coins. If they're still holding their Bitcoin at this stage, it means that they have a strong bias against selling the Bitcoin into something else. But the key currently at this point of time is actually to sell your BTC in alts. And very, very few people will be capitalizing heavily. Most because they already sold the BTC, like me for example, and some of them, they will just never be repositioning selling the BTC, and they will just be sitting there and waiting with their 2 to 3x's till the end of the cycle, while altcoins will actually going absolutely nuts. I'm not a big fan of fractals, but this one gives me chills. Altcoins 2020, altcoins 2025. I would say that like right now we are a bit off timing wise, because this run started slightly sooner, and as you can see, yeah, like somewhere here we already were up in comparison to us currently right here. But I do believe that things like this, they can happen, right? And yeah, this chart is absolutely nuts at this stage, and like these fractals actually tend to be playing out, and right now no one believes that it will actually be playing out. All this like sentiment, too many alts, blah blah bullshit. Alts will pump like crazy. We've seen this already. We've seen the first drop of BTC dominance, which just like it's exactly follows and repeats the BTC dominance drop pattern from the previous cycle. It's insane, like how these people can be saying, it's insane to me. It's absolutely insane to me. Altcoins versus Bitcoin. We all know what happens next. Yeah, this is the point I also was talking slightly on, that BTC has a catch up to do to DXY and to the stock market still. And altcoins, they have a catch up to do to BTC, which is insane. And like most of this move, most of this blue move was in coins like XRP. They added a bunch of liquidity and stuff. Like others didn't move much, which means that they are double beach ball underwater. They are double suppressed at this stage. This was a bear trap. Get ready for new highs. Alt season starts in February 2025. Yeah, something I've been talking for about several weeks at this stage. Finally, the market is picking up, right? VCs got cooked by the current cycle too. Return benchmark last cycle 563x. Return benchmark current cycle 6x. So this is a very interesting piece of alpha. I would say like this is one of the best alpha information you can only think on. And when I've seen this in the first place, I was very, very curious to figure out what was the amount of access that VCs done on altcoins last cycle, but in exact correlation to our timing currently. So I'm talking about January 2021, end of January 2021. I don't believe they've done a bunch of access during this time as well, because obviously this metric is by the end of the cycle. We are not at the end of the cycle. And what this helps, from one point of view, you might say, well, if they did not do so many access and it's such not a profitable thing for them, they will probably be not pumping their assets. But it will show a noob in you. It would show someone that is just experiencing the first cycle. These guys invested billions of dollars in different altcoin projects. And to be honest, like crypto Twitter, people who are native to crypto, us, who are in this market at this stage, and no one the fuck is in this market at this stage, it's not the exit liquidity. They're not hunting for this exit liquidity. They're playing this game the best way possible. They're accumulating for all the preparation, and then they invite retail, they invite default people, they invite first-time investors to rob them out of their funds. Single moms, hardworking men that will be coming here and buying something like Cardano, for example, at the top again, believing it's the new technology out there. They're hunting for this type of people, because with this type of people, what comes the largest, biggest possible returns. At the same time, for them to be able to liquidate on the billions of dollars, they need a giant distribution area as well. They need Mike Tyson talk about Solana. They need ads on TV in the US with Mark Wahlberg. They need Crypto.com to buy a stadium and in LA. They need all these things. And like that part, these signs that I'm just telling you about, they were the start of the distribution period, right? Not the start, but the top of the distribution period. But after that, they were selling far away into the bear market as well, because they just have this giant positions. And even when Solana was like 70 bucks, they still got a bunch of X's. At the top on Solana, they got 2,300 X's. 70 bucks, they still up 700X. Will you be selling if you would be up 700X? Of course you will. And they were selling as well. And it's exactly something that will be happening this cycle as well. We have a very great narrative that VC is actually going to pump their altcoins. Thus far, you've seen just like scammy crypto native influencers that were very, very broke before this cycle try to pump their meme coins. Right now, what you will be seeing VC funds. You will be seeing real fucking money pumping them back. Your goal is to jump on the same ship. Not be fucking stupid, not be sitting there listening to stupid fucking influencers saying that alt season is not coming and this cycle is different and nothing is happening. Just believe that the whole thing is going to repeat. See this alpha metric. This is the most alpha metric out there. Position yourself. Enter low leverage longs if you want and just grow them over time, making your capital very, very efficient, right? If you're entering, like, I know I've said this before, but right now if you're entering 2-3x leverage loans on alts, I don't believe you can get liquidated. I don't believe that. If you would be entering, like I'm preparing you to this action, if you would be entering in the red February close, this should be generational bottom. This should be like an entry similar to the November 4th out there. And most alts, they're way higher than where they were on November 4th. 2024, 3 days before the announcement of the election of the president of the US. This is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to understand. They yet have to make 93x's. Do you think people investing billions of dollars, billionaires, they would decide now, like this cycle, we won't be making all this money. I have enough. Like this is not the reason I exist. I'm full, I have my family, I have these different houses, I have different cars, I'm not a piece of shit. I just won't be doing that. I would rather give all my money to charity. Bullshit. They will be robbing everyone the same way that they were doing it before. It's just the question for you whether or not to participate. Probably you would want as well because these are just freest money out there. Freest money. Entering right now and entering at the start of February. Although I do think that at the start of February, even if we are seeing red February open, which I do think we will, a lot of alts, a lot of memes, they won't be going as low as they are currently because right now we're still in a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear. Now, potential US created cryptocurrencies could be included in the National Reserve Advanced Digital Asset Integration. Yeah, like I've seen this chart multiple times and the assets that will be included are the ones that paid to family of Trump. Like it's stupid to just discuss US-based assets. It's just a psyop so they can tell like we're supporting US-based assets, but in fact they're just supporting people that gave them money, right? It's not that fairy tale-ish, right? Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be seeing you tomorrow again. If you would like me to do a video on low cap Ethereum memes, get some likes button on this video, guys, all right? Because like my Ethereum memes video, I've done it like 2 days ago. Everything is up. Each and every meme coin I mentioned is up. And there are Ethereum low caps that are actually up as well, but I didn't talk about them. But I will. Just put the proper amount of likes on this video. It's free for you. It's nothing. Do you know how much it cost me to be making this video on a daily basis? Research, video editing, all this stuff. It's not free, right? But for you, it's free, right? Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Stay healthy and rich.